Are you looking for a spot to retire where every day feels like vacation, but it doesn't break the bank? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be going over Port Saint Lucie and the reasons why people are moving here, not just for affordability, not just for access to great fishing. So that's the focus for today. So let's get into the video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alex Haigh, and on this channel, Living in South Florida, we cover everything that has to do with living in this area. We also do community tours to show you the areas of what it's like to live there. So if you're considering moving to the Southeast Florida area, please subscribe below. That way, every Friday when we come out with a new video, you're gonna be able to watch that in your living room and check out what it's like actually to live here. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, starting off, we want to show you Port Saint Lucie, where it is and why people are moving here. Now, Port Saint Lucie is up here in this north area, if you consider north from Miami. Now, this is a little nuance that I want you to understand. This all over in here, see all this, and there's no homes here? Well, this is Everglades. So you can't actually move any further west if you're down in these areas because you reach the Everglades. It's all preserved, it's all protected. What happens when you get up here, right? Right up in here and you're traveling on 95, it all starts to open up. So what's happening is that people are moving from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, even Palm Beach and so forth, because remember I talked about this before, as we work our way south, the price per square foot goes up. So what that's doing is it's pushing people from these southern areas to this northern area. And this is the first area where it starts to open up. It starts to be affordable. You still have your golf, you still have your great hospitals, you still have your public trans, and you have the great beaches and so forth. But ultimately, that's one of the reasons why people are moving to Port Saint Lucie, because in these southern areas, they're getting priced out. They want to be by the ocean, but they want to have something affordable. Now, also what is happening is people are moving from the north for retirement. It's this sweet spot that actually has affordability. It has access to the Orlando Airport, Miami, West Palm, Fort Lauderdale. Now, diving into the statistics and population a little bit here to give you an understanding of the scope and the scale. Dade County is where Miami is. So that figure this is Dade County. There's 2.6 million people that live in Dade County. Just north of that is Broward County. Broward County is right in here. You have around 1.9 million people that live in Broward County. Moving one more county north, Jupiter is just in that, and this is Palm Beach County. There's around 1.6 million people that live in Palm Beach County. St. Lucie County, now Martin County is a very small county. I'm not going to dive into that right now because it's actually a little bit more costly than St. Lucie County. And that's why some of these people are skipping over Martin County and going into St. Lucie County. Guess how many people are in St. Lucie County? Drop a comment below. 350,000 people live in St. Lucie County. So if we have nowhere else for people to build out to, you can only go up. Price per square foot is going up. You're talking close to 4.5 million people, and you got 350,000 people here. Where do you think people are gonna go? That's what's pushing this southern to northern movement, is the dense population that is happening down in these three counties down here, and people are looking for something more affordable, and that's what's honing them in on St. Lucie County. Now, inverse to that, rather than coming from south to north, let's talk about the people coming from the north to the south. In New York City, for instance, 2.9 million people live in Staten Island. A lot of these people are going, I don't want to be around this many people anymore. So when they think about Florida and they start to research it, they look at all of the dense population that's happening down in this area, and they go, maybe we could go someplace else, but we still want to be in that warm weather. We still want to have access to the hospitals. Now, let's dive into Port Saint Lucie itself and show you the different areas in Port Saint Lucie. And some of them I've gone over in previous videos, but let's dive into that now. All right, so we're going to approach this from a standpoint of the 4 criteria that I used actually to gauge best beachside budget towns to live in. The first one is affordability. The second one is accessibility. The third one is recreation. And then we have climate. So let's dive into the first one, which is affordability. Now in St. Lucie County, I just checked, the most affordable single family home was listed at $172,000. Now it was a 1-bedroom, granted. Now, if you want to go out and you can get a condo and a brand new, redone, completely condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, you can be in the low 200s for something like that. And you can be in an area that is closer to 95, and this is the Turnpike. So let's talk about affordability. Now, I mentioned earlier, I did do a check on MLS, and the lowest price home was $172,000, and it was for a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath. Now, where was that property? It's a big county. This is a big county, but that property was up here in Lakewood Park, right? So remember, going into what I was referring to earlier, that the price per square foot goes down as you go north. So you can see it's not a surprise that that $172,000 home was up in the northern part of St. Lucie County. Now, if you wanted to say maybe, we mentioned earlier some 55 and over communities, if this is a retirement situation. We have some 55 and over communities in here. We got the Cascades, and then down here in Tradition, you're gonna have Del Webb. I just looked at Del Webb this morning. The lowest priced home for a 55 and over property, that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, around 1,700 square feet, was just over $400,000. That is a brand new home in a community. It's got the pickleball, all those other great amenities. It's close to the hospitals. We did a piece on Tradition to talk about the Cleveland Clinic that's there and so forth. But I just want you to know that in that $400,000 range, the Cascades is over here. We showed you that property in a previous video. There was a redo property that was $300,000 right down here in Lake Charles. So this area over in here, you can see it opens up. This is St. Lucie West. This is Tradition. It's a little more open, has more continuity to it. This area here in Port Saint Lucie was actually developed by a company called General Development Corp. And if we zoomed in on this, you can see that the homes are really packed in there. So it does have a little bit of sense of congestion in there, but you might want that larger home with a pool. If you don't want to be in an HOA, this is the area you're going to want to be in. If you want a little bit more continuity with an HOA in that, you're going to be looking in here. Now, remember our beachside budget town. That's what Fort Pierce was, going down to affordability. That 1-bedroom home for $172,000 was up here. Now you can go out on the island, and this is a great place where you can actually find affordable homes walking distance to the beach. So giving you an idea as far as affordability, this is where you're going to be for the $400,000 homes, not with an HOA. This is where you're going to be with the $400,000, some $300,000 homes that have an HOA and maybe some of the amenities. And then if you really want to have the lower priced home, you're going to go further north. I want to add one more thing. The 55 and over communities are going to actually be a little bit lower price per square foot because not as many people can buy 55 and over communities, right? So the price per square foot is actually going to be down. So if you wanted a new home, brand new, turnkey, warranty, everything done, you can find something up here. See how this is all open up in here? There are some new communities that have come out off of the main road coming out of Fort Pierce, and there's some new home communities up in here that you can be in the high 300s and get something really nice, granite countertops and so forth in this western corridor in that 400,000 range. So if we want to talk about affordability, that's why people are moving to Port Saint Lucie. You're not going to find any of these price per square foots as you go south. Now you can go further north, but now you're going to start to move away from the accessibility. So let's talk about accessibility. Now, you have two major roads or interstates that run through St. Lucie County. The first one is Route 95, and then this one is actually the Turnpike. So the Turnpike goes from Miami and it goes up here west to Orlando. The really cool thing about accessibility is that not all counties have multiple access to Route 95, which goes up the East Coast up to Jacksonville. So the accessibility, you have multiple exits actually here in St. Lucie County, and there's actually one down here. There's a couple of exits for the turnpike, both down here and up in here, access for the turnpike, and then there's another one that's both the turnpike and 95. So you have multiple points where you can get onto any of these to get to those major airports. Now, accessibility as well for hospitals. Now, we did a video over here in the Tradition area, and there's actually a Cleveland Clinic right over here. North here, there's actually the St. Lucie North Hospital as well. And then down in Stuart, which is a very short drive, like literally we're not talking about it right now. I've done some videos on Stuart, but you have multiple hospitals down in Stuart from the Cleveland Clinic, which is one of the best hospital system, healthcare systems in the country. Now, you also have accessibility to all your great golf. You guys know I'm gonna get into my golf, but there's access to golf all over here. I could dive in. There's even golf courses out here on the island, a couple of them, not many. I won't dive into it. However, the access to the beach. So if we're up here in this northern area, we have this access to the beach right here out at the inlet. You got beautiful turquoise water. I mentioned that in a video coming into Fort Pierce. Beautiful turquoise water that comes up there. Your next access to the ocean for boats is down here. This is actually called the St. Lucie Inlet, but it's actually in Stuart, okay? So you're gonna have access to the ocean down here. You're gonna have access to the ocean up here as far as going out for deep water. And then this is access to all these beautiful beaches that we've gone over in a couple other videos where you don't have to wait for parking. There's no congestion. You don't have to pay. It's not an aggressive thing to try to find a spot. You can go to any of these beaches and you're never gonna have a trouble finding a spot. Okay, so as far as shopping, the accessibility, now this is all of St. Lucie County. So the main shopping that you're gonna have, always have access to Route 1, which runs from north to south. And along that, you're going to have your strip malls, Walmart, all those kind of things along US 1. So wherever you are in Port Saint Lucie, you're gonna have access to that. Now, also, there's great shopping over here in Tradition. We did a previous video on that. Now, even up here in the St. Lucie West, we showed you a few of the great places to eat, and you got your city center there where you have all more shopping there as well. So this whole area is shopping. Up and down US 1 is shopping. Now, let's say you wanted to go out for dinner, right? There's gonna be places where you can go out for dinner on US 1. So you have these access points. Even if you're further north, you can always hop on 95 and you can be down in Stuart in a half an hour to 45 minutes and check out downtown Stuart and do some shopping and get some ice cream at Kilwin's, and maybe you'll see Mike the Bike when you're down there. So when we're talking about outdoor recreation, there are some really great parks and preserves that you can go to. You can see right here that we have Jonathan Dickinson State Park, and you can go down there and you can rent a kayak, you can rent bikes, you can go on hiking on all kinds of trails out there. You got the Atlantic Preserve State Park, all kinds of hiking that can go on there. Aquatic, coming to Florida, we have a beautiful ocean. It's great temperature year round. When you go in the ocean up in the Northeast, it's cold even in the summertime. In the winter time down here, the water isn't even as cold as it is up there in the summertime. So if you learn to kind of embrace this aquatic life, you're gonna get that much more enjoyment out of the atmosphere down here if you start to embrace this aquatic life. Now, that being said, you might be like, I don't wanna be around the water at all. And in all of these communities, you got your pickleball, you got your golf, you got your walking paths, and even if you live close to a golf course, you can actually bike on the cart paths. I see people doing that all the time. Now, when it comes to recreation on the water, you've got your fishing, you got your water skiing. I'm a very avid paddleboarder, kayaker. Here's something curious that a lot of people don't know about, and I didn't know about it until I actually lived here for over a decade, is that this area right in here is actually called the Indian River Lagoon, and it's the second largest estuary in the entire world. What makes that special, and why is an estuary special? Well, it's because you have this large area of surface on land that you have mangroves, right? And mangroves thrive where there's fresh water and salt water. And so all of the fish life comes in there, and that's where actually they call it actually the nursery for the oceans. This is where a lot of that wildlife and fish life and marine life starts, is in this estuary. It's a very special place. So if you happen to love birds and you love wildlife, it attracts a lot of different wildlife. You have an amazing spot here in the Indian River Lagoon to check out into that accessibility. Here's St. Lucie County, here's Martin County, it's all right here. But wanted you to know about it. All right, so we went over affordability, we went over access, and we went over recreation. Now these are all the reasons why people are moving here from the south to the north, from the north to the south, and centraling in on Port Saint Lucie. Well, what also we talked in previous videos about the frost line that goes down here. We're well into this tropical climate, and so that's what wraps all that up. It is absolutely beautiful down here. That's the reason I moved here, is because golf year round. That's really the inception in my 20s of why I moved here, that there was golf year round. With that being said, there's two little drawbacks to this climate. One, in the summertime, it can get hot. It can get humid. It's not just hot, Arizona hot, like 120. It can get up into the high 90s, but what makes it really hot or feel really hot is the humidity. There's air conditioning, so you can stay inside and just come out in the evenings. It is still humid. People say it's humid. I've got acclimated. I can let you know, I'm from New Hampshire. I grew up in the cold, but I'm now acclimated to this. The cold really bothers me. The heat doesn't bother me like the cold does. So the other bit is we do get hurricanes. Now, people ask me about hurricanes. Now, I did do a video on preparedness for hurricanes. So if you want to go back in the archives, you can check out that video on how to prepare for a hurricane. But I do want you to know that as long as you are prepared and you have insurance, I've lived here in Florida for over 20 years. I've been through 4 major hurricanes. Actually, the eye of 3 storms came over Stuart. We had the eye, which is the most powerful part of the hurricane, came over Stuart. Now, they were class 3 hurricanes. They weren't, somewhere up with the Ian that hit New Orleans. So, category 5 is a different story, but category 3s are kind of where most of the storms land. And they ripped some roofs off of houses and so forth. It's certainly a big inconvenience. I haven't known anybody that got really hurt by the storms. They got very inconvenienced by the storms. If you want to check out how to be prepared for a hurricane, you can check out my video on it here. So in summary, you want to retire to a place where every day feels like vacation. You feel relaxed. You feel safe. You feel like everything is right at your fingertips. Now that's why it's a great place to retire, because it feels like vacation. Now, that being said, it's a really big county. It's a really big county. I've been going over different parts of it in different parts of videos, but if you want to really know where might be best place for you, the type of property, maybe it's a condo, maybe it's a villa, maybe it's a townhome, maybe you need to be close to a golf course, that's why you need to reach out to us, because it's a really big county. There are a lot of different options there. And so that's why you need to reach out. So if you're still in research mode and you're trying to find that top beachside budget town, or you're just looking for the best place to live in Florida, I recently did a video on the top 10 beachside budget towns to live in. You can check that video out. Fort Pierce was the #1 beachside budget town, and I did a video on that. You can check it out here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.